Hey guys, welcome back to Dragons and Armwrestling. So I told you guys that we were going to start putting out more videos and more content, and that's what we're going to do. I had a lot of you guys ask how I warm up for pull-ups and dips and how I warm up before my workouts. So that's what we're going to go over for today's video. So let's go ahead and get started. So usually, everyone that knows me knows I'm a calisthenics guy. So pull-ups and dips are mainly the exercises I do. On days where I feel decent, it's a short warm-up process. On days like today where I feel pretty banged up, pretty beat up, it'll be a longer warm-up process. Typically for an arm wrestler, you'll have pains in your elbow, you'll have pains in your brachioradialis, your brachii, a lot of pain here, your rotator, sometimes people have pain in their front delt, your hands, your wrists. So I'm going to go over how to warm up all of that today in my warm-up process. So the first thing I usually like to do, come over here to the pull-up bar, and I'll stretch out my chest. This really, like, the release from your chest also helps release your rotator cuff sometimes, and that's a really nice relief. So I like to go higher, and then I'll even start to come more vertical, and then eventually I'll bring my hands together. I just kind of relax, stretch everything out. Then I go back down, kind of push between the bars, push my arms just outside my shoulder, because when arm wrestling, you're never outside your shoulders. So you want to stretch that out so you get all the pains out there. Then to warm up your lats, I like to kind of bring my hands anywhere from here to here, sometimes around here, hang, engage the lats, back down, engage the lats, and back down. And what that does, it just gets your lats ready and primed and warmed up for when you start doing pull-ups. The next thing I do for my pull-ups is I'll grab a little bit wider grip and I'll explode to see how everything's feeling. So I like to do a couple explosive pull-ups just to see how everything's feeling. And this will kind of tell me, after I feel that, what all needs warmed up. So after I feel, oh man, those were bad, or those were pretty good, then I know what else to warm up from there. So we'll go ahead and go to the next exercise. Then after that, I like to come over to my dip bars. First, I like to really stretch out my wrists in a couple different ways. So for me, I found the best way to do dips is put your thumb on the bar like this. A lot of people, they grab like this. It makes the chain more through here and less through your whole bone structure of your forearm and your arm. So when you put your hand like this, it gives you a little bit more stability. Here's kind of like a suicide grip for bench press, but I feel like when you're in this grip, it has a tendency to push you off, especially since all my workouts are outdoors. It's humid, it's hot, I sweat. Has a tendency to try to push you off. This gives you that same line and control, but you have a little bit more stability with your thumb because you can push and pull at the same time. But I like to get in this grip, lean my whole body forward, stretch out the wrists, lean back, stretch out the wrists, change hand position. Then I like to stretch my wrists like this. Like this. And then I'll go stretch out the arms a little bit, and I'll do a really slow first dip, lean forward, down, explode up to see how everything feels. And that's the same purpose for the explosive dips as the pull-ups. Once you do a couple explosive ones, you know what feels good, what hurts, what needs to be warmed up the rest of the way from there. So let's say it's a horrible day and you realize that everything needs more warmed up. That's what we're going to go over next. The next exercise is, let's say that I did my pull-ups and I'm like, oh man, my brachii hurts, my brachioradialis is fried, everything in the arms hurts. This is what I would suggest for that in that situation. So I have this really cool resistance bands. You can either do free handles, where you can go back and forth, or you can do the bar. I like the bar for the most part, just because it really focuses on, if you want to do pronated, you're pronated. If you want to do supinated, you're supinated, and that's my main focus is for this exercise. So you'll step through. You can either go on the bottom, or you can go in the handle. I like to go to the handle just because it gives you about 6 inches more resistance. I start close grip. I'll do 10. Real nice, slow, close grip. After I get my 10, I'll go one hand's width over, kind of just shoulder width. And sometimes I'll even lean back with it. That way, it's a real good stretch throughout the whole range of motion. And you can even lean back, and when you start to feel like there's less tension on the biceps, lean forward just a tad. So lean back to start the rep, then lean forward to end it. That way there's always max tension on the arms. And then, once you get your 10, you go a little bit wider, all the way wide grip to work another set. After you do that, then you want to do supinated. So you'll wait a couple minutes, let the blood empty out of your arms, and you'll go supinated. Same thing, kind of push this way. You don't want to hyperextend your arms, you don't want to pop a bicep. Make sure you've always got at least a little bit of bend in your arm, because supinated bicep curls are how most people tear their bicep. You just be careful. But maximum stretch, same thing. Get your 10, and go a little bit wider. And go a little bit wider. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend having a bar or a resistance band. As long as you have a resistance band and a broomstick or a handle of some sort, you can step on it like this, and you can just do your normal stuff, hands together, hands wider, hands wider than that. But you could also just put a broomstick in between it and do the same exact exercise that I was just doing. Or if you have a bar, same thing. Close, do your curls, do them a little bit wider, do them a little bit wider. As long as you have something, you can get your blood flow exercises in. The next exercise is going to be for the people who have any pains from here to around here. I love to start with a bar. So what I'll do is I'll just pick up the bar behind the back, close grip, like so, and I'll just do maybe 10 wrist curls. On the 10th, I'll stop at the top and pause for 5 seconds and squeeze as hard as I can. And I'll go 10 more. And I'll stop at the top and squeeze as hard as I can. And I'll do that for about 4 or 5 different sets, so usually 40 to 50 reps. And then I'll switch to the next. And I like to make this little circuit as fast as possible, and it really gets an amazing pump. If you have any injuries, say your elbow or your wrist or anything like this, this is going to be for you. This is going to be, if you don't do this at the beginning of your workout, make sure you throw it in at the end because it is awesome at healing injuries. The next thing I like to do is like grab the same bar I just dropped, grab the bar where the stippling is, put it on my knees, and do reverse wrist curls. I like to go pretty close to failure, 30, 40, 50 reps, somewhere in there. Reverse wrist curls are actually pretty new for me. I've had a bunch of injuries that have kept me from doing them. I love them, but the injuries have just kept me from being able to do them. Now that I'm able to do them again, I really like throwing them in there to prevent injuries in the future. So once I get really nice and pumped, set it down, go to the next thing. This lately has been my favorite exercise for healing injuries, especially the elbow and especially the wrist. A lot of people, they get injuries here and in this chain along here. So for you guys, this is for you. You'll grab the strap like this, wrap it around the back of your wrist, and then back up through the pinky, like so. And you'll just go 40, 50 reps, just like this. And the pump you get in this whole chain is amazing. It is so healing, so beneficial. So I'll do this 40, 50 reps, both arms, yada, yada, switch, and I'll go to a riser exercise. So put the hand through the strap, wrap it around, and back up through the riser. I'll lean back a little bit, and I'll go full range of motion. This band is super light, probably 20 pounds, maybe less if I had to guess. So super light. If you want to go heavier, you can. But always try to get minimum of 30 reps, up to 50 reps when you're doing blood flow stuff like this. Like I said, I like to make this a circuit, so I'll go as fast as I can, as long as I'm keeping good form. just to pump it up, and then I'll go right back to the behind the back wrist curls, then back to the reverse wrist curls, and do this all over again. This is going to be super healing, super beneficial. It'll make sure everything has great blood flow and you won't have any pains before your workout. And the last set of exercise that you want to do for those pesky rotator injuries is external rotation. So you want to get a band, a really light band, and you're going to hold your elbow as close to your side as you can get it and just straight outside. You want to do this for 15 or so reps. Really activates that rotator, that rear delt. Then you want to switch. And I like to do, if you can't hang it from a higher position or a lower position, what I like to do is just hold my other hand here, then switch to this angle and straight back. Another thing I like to do is step out a little bit, hold my arm directly by my side, and just do a bicep curl. It just activates all that same rear delt because you're still externally rotating, but you're not actively pulling all the way out. And that pretty much concludes what I like to do for my warm-up process. And it's a lot very based on feel. So if you feel great, you're going to do a lot less warm-up process. If I feel great, I'm probably just going to stretch a little bit, do a couple explosive reps, see how I feel, and then go ahead and start my workout. If I'm just beat up like I am today, because yesterday went and practiced with Josh Elton, Ron Bath, and Pranav, just pulling super strong guys like that, and then going immediately to another practice and pulling for more endurance and more hypertrophy work. So I'm just fried. So then I'll throw in this longer warm-up where I warm up all the tendons, get the blood in the tendons, get the elbow healed, get the brachioradialis healed, get the brachii healed, get the rotator healed. Make sure all the blood's in all the important aspects before I go ahead and work out. So I don't hurt anything. Make sure that you're listening to your body. If you have any bad pains after a full warm-up session like that, you probably don't want to work out hard. If you're gonna do something, just do some really nice, slow blood flow stuff. Do body weight. If you're planning on doing some heavy bench, probably don't do heavy bench if you're still beat up and destroyed after a warm-up like that. But if you do your warm-up and you still feel good, or if you feel decent, go ahead and do your workout like normal. But yeah, that pretty much concludes the video, guys. Comment what you'd like to see next, and I'll see you on the next one.